Jr. Now, you've seen them in MLW tearing it up. Of course, the Hearts and the Dynasty going head-to-head. But tonight we're going to see here at Go Professional Wrestling, Go Big or Go Home, we are going to see perhaps a rubber match. Richard Holliday versus Brian Pillman Jr.
Hey, it's not only the best talent, but it's also from everywhere. It's multi-promotional, and yes, this a showcase of primarily MLW talent. If you're a fan, if you're familiar with MLW, you're gonna love this one.
Absolutely. Back up to ringside.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
I have high expectations for this match, as I do every match on the card here, Joel. Richard Holliday and Brian Pillman Jr., as we mentioned before, no strangers to one another. As Holliday makes his way to the ring.
Do you understand? I hate to belabor the point, right? We don't need to come full circle all the time. Sometimes you talk about it, you've talked about it, it's done. But going back to a match or two ago, when we said that we couldn't believe that we had been blessed with such an opening match, right? Think about the fact that this match between former MLW Tag Team Champions is simply the third match on this show. This could be a main event in MLW, and they tour everywhere.
Consumers!
So literally anywhere in the world, this could be a main event.
Don't worry about it, man. Consumers, I know it's a little intimidating to see larger-than-life television superstars in person. But trust me when I say, if you come to my 8x10 stand over there, I will be more than accommodating to you at intermission.
Oh, that's very kind of Richard Holliday. I'm sure there's going to be a high premium to that accommodation.
I'm not sure what that math equation means, sir, but please, just be quiet. You see, GoPro Professional Wrestling decided excuse me, sir? Don't cut me off when I'm talking. Decided to run their first show. And of course, from a marketing perspective, the smart thing to do
crowd getting on Richard Holliday's nerves here.
The smart thing to do would be to hire the most marketable man in wrestling, MLW superstar, Richard Holliday.
He should know. He's
now
got a degree in marketing.
I'm going up one-on-one.
Is that true?
Against second-rate, second-generation superstar Brian Pillman Jr.
I don't know if that was a Freudian slip right there, or
I think that was intended and meant.
Now that was just stupid, honestly. You lost your flow there, man.
He's having some fun
tonight,
with the fans, but
the consumers, all of you, are going to be absolute.
All right, I know that music.
And the Office or his opponent had enough.
Yeah, something tells me that Brian Pillman Jr. was tired of waiting around. This kid, we mentioned, second generation star. His father, of course, the late Brian Pillman, Flying Brian, the loose cannon. You spent some time with Brian Pillman. Is this a chip off the old block?
I think he's just about as crazy, yeah. And just about as talented. You know, you can't help who your parents are. You can't pick your family. But not only is he the son of Brian Pillman, he was trained by Lance Storm.
First to my left, fighting out of New Haven, Connecticut. He weighs in at 241 pounds. He is the most marketable man in wrestling. And the promoter's best friend. And the consumer's champion, Richard Holliday.
Amazing Mark Haggerty was able to remember all of that. No assistance whatsoever.
I think he's got something in his ear, but then that could just be earwax.
His
I'm not
opponent,
sure. Someone.
To my right, fighting out of Cincinnati, Ohio. He weighs in tonight at 220 pounds. He is the promised prince, Brian Pillman Jr.
Brian Pillman Jr., you mentioned before the talent. You mentioned him being trained by Lance Storm.
And gifts, man, just gifts, just talents. You know, his lineage, his legacy, that goes without saying, but beyond his pedigree and his last name, gifts.
Yes. Without question, Brian Pillman Jr. is a talented in-ring performer and athlete. But let's not take anything away from his opponent tonight, Richard Holliday, who's taking a nice stroll around ringside.
Sometimes when you have an idea, he might have an idea of a way to get at Pillman. And sometimes when you have an idea in the corporate world, you take that idea for a walk. He happens to be taking that walk outside the ring.
Well said. And look, playing mind games with somebody, or at this point in time, basically just trying to freeze him out. Brian Pillman Jr. ready to go, and he's just going to stop him right there. And maybe that makes Brian Pillman have to rethink what he's doing. And Pillman Jr. right there with went for a headlock, but was caught into a top wrist lock there. Oh, vicious right there. Pulled that bicep right down into Pillman's own shoulder, and he's got that wrist. But Holliday rolls through, kip up, and a reversal.
These guys have a ton of history. What if I told you that Pillman's only really been in the business full-time, dedicated, for about 2 years, and Holliday for only 4 years? So these guys are rookies, and it is unbelievable.
Because again, and we have, maybe we've belabored this point, we're not trying to sell you. You're already watching the show. We're not trying to sell you on it. We're just as excited as you are about the quality of matches here. This could be a main event anywhere. Every show, every match on the show is top quality, and right now we are seeing two athletes who are arguably years away from reaching their prime in the ring right now at the top of their current game for sure. Float over by Holliday. Oh, attempts a leapfrog, but is caught with a slap to the face instead.
We've alluded to it already. It's like a three-pronged fork. When you've got top talent, when you've got evenly booked dream matches, and when you've got something that's multi-promotional, that's the definition of a supercard.
Absolutely. And Brian Pillman Jr. just kind of standing there accepting these slaps to the face. You talked about it was a little crazy. But I feel like maybe that's a setup. Yep, bit of a setup. Oh, he puts his own hand on his face. And a stiff chop. And another one. Oh. And a third one for good measure. Brian Pillman Jr. Oh, no, he shouldn't have listened to the crowd there, perhaps. The crowd got the chop they were waiting for, but it wasn't the one they had hoped, I suppose. And another chop in the corner. Brian Pillman Jr. sent off the ropes with a reversal. Holliday into the corner, and wow! Did you hear the connection of that clothesline in the corner? Takes Holliday off his feet. Tries to, wow, look at that. Tries to cover up from a drop kick. Brian Pillman Jr. stops in midair and just slaps him right across the face.
No matter what your last name, it's not a Holliday when you get assaulted like that by Brian Pillman Jr.
That is for sure. Oh, jumps over and a mule kick. Catches Holliday outside the ring, and Pillman goes to join him.
These guys, a lot of history, man, in MLW. Their teams, the New Era Hart Foundation and the Dynasty, back and forth for those MLW tag team titles.
Yes. There is. We talked about the talent on this show. Stiff uppercut by Brian Pillman Jr. to Richard Holliday. The talent on this show. To be a part of a group. I'm just talking about Brian Pillman Jr. right now, but to be a part of a group that acknowledges that second or third generation lineage that you have, to refer to yourself, whether it's a New Generation Heart Foundation or a Heart Foundation in general, to use that, what you're doing is you're telling the fans, hey, this is who we are, and feel free to judge us at that standard, at that level. That takes some guts and some talent.
Gosh!
Drop kick right to Brian Pillman Jr. as he tried to springboard off that top rope, and I hope he's all right out there.
I was about to say, can't tell from our vantage point from where we're seated, but it could be that he took a nasty fall because I haven't seen him for quite a few seconds now. Finally making his way back up.
There's a possibility that he's also
and then he's down again.
Taking this opportunity to utilize the entirety of the 10 count, or perhaps just 9 seconds of it. Unfortunately, I feel like that was more a necessity and not a game plan. As he's sent back to the outside is Brian Pillman Jr. by Richard Holliday, and right into that unforgiving post. I'll tell you, we talked about our vantage point. From our vantage point, I was able to see the small of Brian Pillman Jr.'s back rammed right into there.
Yeah, man, just spine first.
Joel, what do you do in an instance like this? Brian Pillman is down. He doesn't want to be out. What does he do? Just having the will isn't going to be enough, perhaps. What can he do? What about Richard Holliday can he try to take advantage of to get back in control of this match?
Well, while your mind is racing and you're down and you're trying to think about how to regain control, you think about things like exploiting weakness, but that's tough to do, again, when you're in a position of being the man that's on defense. It's tough.
Do you think maybe right now with these chops, we've talked about them, there's that high-pitched sound of a chop that, didn't work out for him, goes for it again. Oh! That was a shot right beneath the jaw, and that might be it, but still a 1 count. That rocked Brian Pillman Jr. for a second there, but he is where? Oh my God! Did you see that backbreaker?
Yeah, and that's smart. Absolutely, and that's smart by Holliday. Keep working that back.
I was going to say before that Richard Holliday was taking too much time just to try and punish him with a couple of chops to the chest, but it looks like he knows what he's doing. Who am I to question? Right. Richard Holliday with a stomp right to the chest. That's going to knock the wind right out of.
Sometimes something that's done is better than something that's perfect. It's that chop that lands that's definitely better than that chop that's thrown with vicious, malicious intent but doesn't connect.
Well said. Speaking of connecting chops, there's 2 of them for you. Oh, man. Ripping those pectorals apart. Duck under by Pillman, and caught with a spine buster, of course. Shades of AA Arn Anderson. That beautiful turnaround spine buster. And got him in a rear chin lock.
So what could come next? Is he thinking about backbreakers? Is he thinking about a Boston Crab? What can he do that he hasn't yet done to continue? Because now 3 times in a major way, he's really, really tried to affect the back and the spine of Brian Pillman Jr.
You talked about zeroing in on a specific body part. That is exactly what Richard Holliday is doing. He has obviously chosen this game plan of attacking the low back of Brian Pillman Jr., but I think what he was doing there is maybe trying to catch his own breath. But look, gut wrench suplex, maybe not. Didn't work out for him. A couple of stiff shots from Brian Pillman Jr. That sounds like a chop, but he is hitting him with the palm of his hand right there. There's going to be a thud and flying forearm. Pillman stays on his feet, however, and he's about to send, reversal. Pillman into the corner. Holliday catches a knee for his troubles, and Pillman asks the crowd if they'd like him to fly like his father before him with a flying clothesline. And Brian Pillman Jr. hooks the leg, 2, and only a 2. That was, I'm not going to call that a lazy cover, but that was a relaxed cover. When you pin somebody, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your chest down on their chest and put your head up and put as much pressure as you can down. Unfortunately, when you're laying on your back, that you're not going to get the same effect with that pinfall.
What about 2/3 of the way across the ring from that top rope? Did you see it?
I was impressive.
As tall as he is, as big as he is, 2/3 of the way across the ring from that from balancing on the top rope. If the ring's 18 by 18, what's 2/3 of it? 12? That's 12 feet that he projected himself from having first to just balance and get on that top rope. That's not something everybody can do.
I would say twice, if not over twice, his own height. He went flying across the ring. And we're up on the we're up in the high rent district here. Holliday looking for a superplex, but it is suplex off the second rope. But I don't know that Pillman's going to let him do it. And Holliday lost his footing, and he's down. And Pillman going right back up to that top rope where he is most comfortable. Again, right across the ring with a flying crossbody, and that has got to be it. No.
He's doing all this with a weakened back, with a compromised back. You see what's going on?
You talked about him going
with a compromise. Everything he's doing right now is since he took all that major impact to his back. When your back hurts, if you've got sciatica, if you've got any kind of back pain, you threw your back out. Try doing the dishes with your back. Try feeding the cat with your back. And if you're not familiar with the sexual reference feeding the cat, if you have a pet cat, try feeding the cat with your back. It's hard when you're in back pain to do anything. This man is winning right now this professional wrestling match.
There was a lot to unpack in that statement, but the majority of that was very valid, very true. It's Pillman now. He might not be winning this professional wrestling match. A quick roll up, but no, he's out. But no, you make a very
majority
good point.
What? There is a sexual reference called feeding the cat.
I believe. Not only do I believe you. Oh, that might be it. I think that is it. Pillman's down. No, Brian Pillman Jr. kicks out again
with a bad back.
With a bad
kicks
back.
250 pounds of human being off of his body.
Incredibly impressive. You know, I said before that maybe just his will alone wasn't going to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have been questioning the intestinal fortitude of Brian Pillman Jr., who right now is getting, I was going to say was getting some much-needed rest while Holliday argued with the referee. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough rest, and he is now, some might say a mud hole was being stomped right there in the corner. Well, you do not want to mess with this referee, and I think Richard Holliday is figuring that out right now.
Well, what Richard Holliday should be worried about and figuring out is how to keep going after every body part, and especially the back of Brian Pillman. And if you think he can't do it, he was an offensive lineman in college while he was getting that marketing degree.
Oh! Vicious clothesline almost takes Pillman's head off. Holliday going for that gut wrench suplex that he attempted earlier into a gut wrench power bomb. And the cover, and that is it for Brian Pillman Jr.
Got him.
I had hoped that he was going to cut me off on that again, but that was it.
Here is your winner, the most marketable man in wrestling, a promoter's best friend, and the consumer's champion, Richard Holliday.
Well, we are all consumers in a capitalist society, so that makes him the people's champion, I guess. Which people, I'm not exactly sure. Not these people, not here tonight, but a victory is what absolutely did happen here tonight for the corporate man, Richard Holliday.
Richard Holliday victorious. Brian Pillman Jr. in the ring, still on the mat. What an incredible night of action we have had so far. That match, every match before it, could have been a main event.